Hello, once again. It is Barbara with Second Act Women, and I am more than excited to bring on in about 1 minute our major sponsor of CareerCon. Now, here's the deal. Careers, there are a lot of them out there. There are a lot of jobs, is what I mean to say, that are out there. But I recognize with Second Act Women, and so does Western Union and CBS Colorado, our partners over there, and the Colorado Women's Chamber, that finding one can be a little tricky at times. And specifically under the umbrella of Second Act Women, women and men over 40 and 50. So here's the question that I pose to you. Are you looking for a job and you just can't get through the ATS? You can't get through the system? Do you think age is holding you back? But you don't recognize, that imposter syndrome can enter the brain and make you think that you don't have what it takes to get the job that you want. But you do. So forget about the age factor. You don't know what you want to do when you grow up. Hello. I hear that so often amongst our 4,800 person community inside of Facebook. A lot of times we have been there, done that, and we're just trying to figure out what we want to do when we grow up. CareerCon is that place for you. We have brought together the most amazing, and I truly mean the most amazing recruiters, experts in DE&I, experts in HR, recruiters, career experts, resume rescue folks to help you land your next job. Now, CareerCon is on the weekend, so you can skip skiing one weekend. Hello. If it comes down to finding the job you want, right? So it's February 4th and 5th, right here in downtown Denver, but also live online on Zoom. So you have no excuse not to be at CareerCon. If you want more information about who is going to be at CareerCon, I invite you to secondactwomen.com and you will find out all about it. So I'm going to bring on one of our power sponsors. I'm welcoming Yolanda to the stage. Hi, Yolanda.
Oh, hello, Barbara.
So listen, Yolanda, I would love for you to share with everyone, what do you do at Western Union? And it's doubtful that people know that it's based here in Denver. So share a little.
Yes, thank you for having me. I'm glad to be here. I am Yolanda Larkin, and I am the Global Talent Acquisition Manager for DE&I here at Western Union. And yes, we are headquarters in Denver. Not a lot of people know that. So we are right off of I-25, right there in the Denver, heart of the Denver area. And I am 53 years old and
Woohoo!
yes, in my second act of my career and life, if you will. And excited to be here and looking forward to CareerCon as well. And thanks for having me.
Yes. Well, and you just hit on something. You said this is your second act. What did you do before Western Union? And here you are, head of talent, global talent. So, share with our ladies and gents what you did before that.
Yeah, so before my Western Union career, and I've been here a little over 8 years, I spent about 12 years in the hotel industry managing a hotel. I actually worked for the Drury Inn hotel chain. If those of you in Denver have seen the one on I-25 and Dry Creek, I actually opened that one up
Oh
as
my
the
goodness.
manager there. So yes, so I had a hospitality industry career prior to going into recruiting, and made that shift into recruiting probably in my mid 30s, raising a family and realized that there's no lock on the door for the hotel business. And so I pivoted a little bit and a lot actually, and got into recruiting. And I'm at Western Union. I started here as a senior recruiter, and I don't head up talent acquisition, but I am the manager for the DEI portion.
That's
And
right.
that means, yeah, no problem. That
Yeah,
means
share that because we were talking offline about how, at least back in my day when I was in corporate, we didn't have those sorts of initiatives within corporate. And I worked for, and I'm sure quite a few people that are watching have worked for large to small scale, mid scale businesses. When did this come about? What is it that you do?
Yeah, so I would say DEI, it has been around. It's been in the workplace for quite a while. I think, a lot of companies have taken being public, right, about their diversity efforts and what that
That's
looks
it.
like.
They're
Yeah,
public about
they're
it.
public
Got
about
it.
it. Yes. And when it comes to inclusion and belonging. And for me, in my role as the DEI talent acquisition manager, it's making sure that that our recruiters have a diverse talent pipeline, right? And that could be diversity in thought, race, age, as we're here speaking about, and just making sure that our jobs are out there, or our company, maybe we don't even have any openings right now for someone, but to tell our story about what we're doing on diversity, inclusion, and equity, so that folks can come back and remember, oh, I remember seeing Yolanda talking on second act, and they were talking about, with Barbara about diversity. I wonder, do they have any openings? And so it's telling that story, being public about it. I think that's huge in what has happened over the last 3 to 5 years, and specifically in 2020, right? When,
Oh gosh.
yes, so
2020 is when it really exploded. And what I like about, and I'm so proud to call Western Union a partner with us on this, is that you recognize the seasoned employee. So it seems as though the ageism, so this ism in particular, is accepted anywhere. From the stages of comedy shows to the jokes that we get, the over the hill black balloons that were really big. Even when you turned 40, you would get those. And so I love that Western Union has recognized that everyone counts. And only 8% of companies that even have DE&I initiatives, only 8% includes age in that mix. How is it that Western Union said, we've got to look at everyone? Everyone matters.
yeah, that's a great question. And I think if I think back to 2020, when we pulled together a group of leaders from our C-suite to some heads of departments, and that's male, female, and such, and we met as a group and decided what are the core things that we want to focus on. And actually, it's women in general around the globe, and women in our senior manager and above positions, right?
Yeah.
Statistics show that there's not a lot of us up there in those positions. And so that's been a focus of for us. And we've published it and our ESG report. And so that's out there, and that's one of our goals that we're striving for
I love that.
2025 to have an increase in our women, female, and senior management level. And so, as a group, and with our ESG group, environmental, societal, and government team, governmental group, that's one of our goals, and we're very public about it. And so I think
I
and we're
love
doing,
that.
making great strides and tracking it, right? Having those metrics.
Yes, yes, tracking it and being public about it. And so CareerCon is not just for the person who is looking for a career or looking to make an entire industry switch. It's also helping women level up. We're providing imposter syndrome sessions. We're providing LinkedIn sessions so that you could be a part of being the brand voice of whatever company you're a part of. So how is it, and also how encouraging women to own their values so that they are applying for senior level positions. So what is some of the advice if a woman who is working with Western Union or anywhere, what skills, hard skills, soft skills, what advice do you give someone that where they're ready to either make a lateral move or they want to go up the chain, but imposter syndrome has set in?
Yeah, I think imposter syndrome is huge. And talking about going up the ladder, I don't know what the actual statistics are, but they say that men apply to jobs that they're not 100% qualified for, right?
I think
And
it's 50%, Yolanda. I think it's 50%. And we wait until it's like 99% of the, yes, yes.
right, but we've got, and I think you just mentioned some soft skills, and it's transferable skills as well. Even our veteran population, we worked a lot with them as well. And when you can translate some skills that you have to some work experience, I think that's huge. And not to count ourselves out on jobs. If you can feel that the job sounds good to you, apply for it and make those connections. I think Second Act Women is one of those groups that we should all be connected to. LinkedIn, I've had many people reach out to me on LinkedIn and say, hey, I want to hear about Western Union and about your employee resource groups,
Oh,
and yes, and so even before, applying to a job, or maybe they've seen so many and they want some advice on how to navigate that. So I say building those connections and reaching out to even those you don't know, and like CareerCon, attending those career fairs as well. And yeah.
that's another thing that seems new. I could be wrong. ERG groups, these resource groups. How did these come about? Is this like, I mean, how did it come about?
Yeah, they're not new. Again, I think
Okay.
since 2020 they've become more public, right? And you hear companies are doing more. With at Western Union, we started our Women at Woo probably about 5 or 6 years ago, and that was specifically for the women at Western Union. And so we've had a focus on women for quite a while here at
Wow.
Western Union. And as we continue to grow, we've got 13 global employee resource groups. And so, yes, and our Black Employee Network, our Somos Unidos, which is a group for our Latinx Hispanic population, our API, our Asian Pacific Islanders, our LGBTQ plus groups. And I think it's important when you talk about DEI, and being a woman, then you've got that intersectionality, right? I'm a Black
Yeah.
female. I've got three. I'm over 50.
Right.
So,
Yeah. So
um,
you've checked all the boxes for for an ism.
for an ism, I've checked all the boxes, but being able to have those groups where you can feel included, and mentorships to those groups, right? We're building out our mentorship and sponsorship program as well for those groups. And I had a passive, a candidate on LinkedIn reach out to me, and I post on LinkedIn that I'm the co-lead for our Black Employee Network, and she wanted to tell me more about Western Union, and specifically about diversity there at your company. And so
Wow.
yeah, so I think if you see a company that you're interested in, and you find someone that's out there, reach out to them. And I'm more than happy to speak to anyone about my experience here, what it feels like to be a woman over 50 and Black at Western Union, And what does that space feel like? And it's a great place to work, and I think I would love to share that story with anyone. So
Well, and you know what I appreciate these days is that, and I, this is, it's really eye-opening that we can, even when we're looking to apply for a job, talk about equity and talk about equality and ask without seeming as if we might be a problem if we're asking about what initiative. So I'm not going to hire that person because already they're asking me what is the makeup of the company. No, these days it's so different. It's acceptable and probably encouraged to find out about the culture of the company. I mean, so that's
yeah,
fascinating to me.
yeah, and it's true, right? Because we're over 50, so we've seen it when it's been different, right?
Oh
You
my
didn't
goodness,
ask
are you
those
kidding me? I wouldn't
questions.
have even thought to ask the question.
You wouldn't have even thought to ask. And so
No.
absolutely. So now it's a time that it's okay to ask, and we want you to ask.
Wow.
And we want, we talk about fit. We've heard that often, that is this a fit? Um,
Yeah.
what does that mean? What does it mean? Is it a fit for the company? And is it a fit for you because you want to have
Yes.
a career? I
It's
Go ahead.
like you're shopping each other. It's like you're, yeah, and you're interviewing each other. And I want to take a step back because a lot of people who know Western Union probably knows Western Union from their younger days. What does Western Union do today?
Yes.
And it's
And
probably the same, but let's remind everyone what Western Union is all about.
it's so interesting you say that, because even hiring the interns, right? Do you know about Western Union? I've seen the
What?
sign at the grocery store. I don't know, and or people know that it's the wire transfer. We do so much more, and we always have done so much more, right? We're 171 years old, and continuing to grow, right? Yeah.
Wow. Who
Yes, so
knew?
we've got some history. Started back with the telegram, and so now we're into to doing a lot more. We continue to grow and transform. We've been under leadership of a new CEO since 2022, at the end of 2021, I should say. He's been here for a year, and we're evolving, right? And continuing to grow to meet the needs of the market. It's
Right.
transformation, right?
Right.
Trying to stay up to date with the digital space. We're going to,
Oh yeah.
see a lot of new products coming from us. We're going to make sure that people know that we're not what we used to be. We're that and more, right?
Right.
When you think about, um, processing and things that happen in the background, we do some of that. We help get college tuitions paid for students overseas that's in the US or vice versa. We help with that, some of our legal verticals as well. We help in that space. So
Wow.
we do so much more than, like you said, back in the day when what we knew Western Union to be about. And we continue
Right.
to grow and evolve. And, you know, um, there's so much new happening in the finance space. And stay tuned for more to see what comes from us. So yeah.
Oh, I'm sure, especially with your new CEO. As you said, I love the new branding.
I was just
I
gonna
got a
say that. Yeah.
yes, I got a peek at the new um, the new logo, and I love that it's Western Union. So no longer we're calling it Woo. I recognize that as your partner, and so, but I just have to say, as we come to a close, how excited I am to have you, and it's really going to be a lovely day. And Yolanda, if there are there any positions open right now, and where can they find those positions right now, and
Yes.
find you in particular?
Yes, I am on LinkedIn, Yolanda Larkin. We've got a number of positions open. Check us out at thewesternunion.com. Click on careers at the bottom of the page or at the top, and we'll have a link to all of our roles. Like I said, we're looking to grow our talent, build out our diverse talent pipeline. We've, senior managers and above. We're looking for group leaders within strategy, within our marketing group, within our product group as well. So if you've got that experience, and if you don't think you check all the boxes, still look it out, check it out, and give me a call, and I can help you. So
Yes, still go for it, ladies. Still go. Sorry, that's my 4-pound dog in the background. Yes, still go for it. And so again, I just want to thank everyone. Yolanda hang tight in the green room because I want to talk to you real quick. So I'm gonna take you offline, but I just want to say thank you to having you, and we're gonna talk about those jobs and how we can help you.
Thank
So
you.
oh, there goes Quinn. Well, let's just welcome Quinn for a moment. We were just ending, Quinn, but we want to bring you on.
No, don't do that. I'm so sorry.
I know you're busy. I know you all are busy. Don't worry about it. Quinn, we were just about to exit, but let's quickly tell everyone about what you do at Western Union.
So that's a big question, right? Because
Because you
I
have a big
actually,
title. You have a very big
well,
title.
it's long. I don't know that it's big, but it's long. So as the global group leader for diversity, equity, and inclusion, I actually run and lead all of our programs, and I actually execute update and execute the strategy. So I work directly with our chief diversity officer to make sure we understand what is our DEI strategy. So I pull that together. We make sure that we have the proper infrastructure to support that. And then I also make sure that all of the programs, whether it's an ERG program or diversity recruiting, or taking a look at our learning and development, or taking a look at how we're going to contribute to our communities, all of that, all of those programs and all of that, those components come through my office.
Well, and Quinn, Yolanda was sharing with us, which is a testament that you can change careers entirely. Um, what did you do before Western Union? Where were
So I've
you
done a
at?
lot. I've been around for a while. So I've worked with a company, International Paper. I was there for 26 years. And yes, I was there for 26 years. I
What kind of
had
a company was it
multiple.
again, Quinn? What was
They are
it?
a manufacturing company. They're one of the largest paper and packaging manufacturing companies in the world. So global
Wow.
company, 50,000 employees around the world. And I started off on the distribution side and I moved through several different organizations. So I am an HR professional by trade. I have
Okay.
done several different jobs within the HR function, right? But a
Yeah.
lot of my time and most of my time has been spent in centers of excellence. So I ran a talent acquisition organization. So I have been a director for talent acquisition on a global basis. So recruiting and scouting and finding talent. Then I also switched over to the DEI realm. And then when I had DEI, I also had engagement, which is employee sentiment and how we were running our engagement surveys. I left there and I actually moved into a totally different world, right? I went on the other side of the fence of HR and I started working for an HR analytics company.
Oh,
And what I
wow.
used to do for that company is I worked with them when they got a client to buy the product, the
Mhm.
analytics product. Then I was a consultant in the workforce planning and the DEI space. And I helped those customers learn how to take the analytics, tie it back to their strategy. I helped them when they were setting up their analytics and what they wanted to measure and how they were going to tie into their local system and so forth.
Okay.
So that gave me a different look. I've also had my own consulting company for many, many years. So I've done consulting. I've worked with HBCUs
Wait,
doing
did you
consulting.
have that? Did you have that as a side gig while you were working?
I've had it
I
as a side
love
gig, and then
that.
I also did it full time when I was working with HBCUs. And not, my specialty, as far as
Wow.
my consulting company, is HBCUs, are actually I should say minority owned and small businesses. That's kind of where
Do you
I
still do
thrive
that?
to support it. I do. I still do.
I love that. You know what we were talking about? Yolanda and I were talking about how back in the day, there's no way. So first, let me back up. Yolanda was saying that she will, from time to time, get people on LinkedIn that will ask her about their resource groups within their company and what is the culture. And that is not something we were ever told we should ever even touch back in the day. So I find it so refreshing that is maybe even expected or anticipated that someone will ask you, what is the culture? What resource groups do you have? When did you see that change come about? Because I find that very fascinating that that's permitted and allowed.
Yeah, we have moved. So if you look at the whole people side of business, it has evolved over time. It started out as a personnel department, and then it moved to a human resources department, right? And that was the evolution that said, we are not just the folks that are pushing when you come in the door and paying you well and then making sure that you
Here's
get
your
out.
insurance
We want,
papers.
right, sign this document, get there.
Yeah.
They moved to human resources because then it came into training and development and how we were going to attract that talent, how we were going to promote that talent. Then we moved into HR business partners, which said, not only are we going to do these things for our employees, but we're going to sit in the business and we want to sit at the table. DEI has done the same thing. DEI started off way back in the day when we were talking about, affirmative action and EEO and how we're going to take that and humanize it
CEO. Yep.
in the
Yep.
organization so that it's not just compliance, it's more than compliance, right?
Yeah.
Then companies move to a point to where,
And
um,
if I may say, it's also not the place that you go just for a complaint.
Right.
absolutely
Because
not.
that's
This
how
is
it
all
was
about belonging,
seen.
right?
Right. It was,
It
okay,
was
I've
belonging.
experienced this. I need to go to HR or to EEO and complain. No, it sounds like it's a partnership.
It is a
Way
partnership for
different.
HR now. But what happened with the DEI side of things was we realized that we also needed to make sure that the only way we were going to get employees to be 100% of themselves is not HR, right? That is allowing them to have a safe space. That is allowing them to bring their whole self to work. That is understanding that as a woman, as an African American and a Black woman, I do things differently than my white male colleagues, right? It
Okay.
doesn't mean that my contribution is less. In some cases, my contribution is more
Yeah.
because of the way that
Yeah.
I handle things and my natural innate abilities that I was born with, my
Yeah.
God-given, talents that no one can take away from me. And so that's how, chief diversity officers and DEI was born, right? And that's how it came about. To your point
Okay.
around when we started asking questions differently and why employees and prospective talent are asking differently is because they no longer want to work in a place where they're miserable. Who wants to do that? No one, right? We
Right.
have finally arrived, and I think a lot
Finally.
of this is generational. I'll be honest with you. I think a lot of this is generational. We taught our children and our grandchildren well and said, don't do anything what you're miserable with. They saw us get laid off. They were latchkey kids. They were doing all these things. And they said, we're not living the way our parents lived. We're not doing the things I did. We're not going to work someplace for 25, 30 years and walk out with a gold watch, right? And so companies they had to get with the program.
They
There's no
had to.
choice. They want to work
Yeah.
in a place where they're going to have a good time, or where they're going to enjoy it, and they are going to be able to thrive, grow, and develop. It's just,
Wow.
it's just, it's a,
It's a
it's
different
not a
world.
matter. This is not a matter of being, getting on the field. This is getting into the stadium, folks. It has nothing to do with whether or not you're a great player. You have got to make sure that you can get into the stadium first, and
Yeah.
that is by being a good company and treating your employees well. Period.
And Western Union is at the top. I mean, it is, we've had meetings with you all, we as in Lupe and I, obviously. And it was so refreshing to walk into the room and see us across the table, literally and figuratively. And it was all, and your DE, I mean, all the way up to Shannon, it's women, and women over, not that this matters, but it's seasoned women as well. And it's so interesting. A moment ago we were also talking about how in the heck do we get these women who, CareerCon is about helping you find the job, but also helping you level up so that you take that next step within the company. And so I'm curious what you have to say to someone who has the imposter syndrome set in. They want that job so bad, the marketing job at Western Union, which is a little higher level or whatever it may be, but they're not going for it because they don't, as Yolanda and I were saying, because they don't fit. They feel like if they don't fit 99% of that job description, they're not going to go for it. What do you tell them? What do you tell women? How do you encourage people to just go for it?
You know, one of the favorite things I talk about with a woman is, tell me about your day, right? When you get up in the morning and you have to plan the schedules for 5 different people if you're a family of 5. If you're a single mom and you're doing that alone, if you've had to figure out how you're going to get one person from A to B, if you have parents and elderly people that you're taking care of, if you are taking a look at making sure that you're on the school board and that you're working on the PTA, or that you are volunteering somewhere, and then my God, if you find a way to work out on top of that, and if you find a way to plan a dinner and plan your menus and all that, You don't think that those skills are transferable
It's
in a
exactly what I said.
management session? You are a CEO, CFO, CDO of your family every
Oh,
single day.
I
Exactly.
love it.
Yeah.
That is such a great point. You're right. We are the CEO, and it's funny because I talk about this too. I had thought of it in that context when you're talking about all the other things that we do within our personal lives. But you're right. We're the intern, we're the mentor, we're the volunteer, because we're everything.
We're
Sometimes we're
the
talking to
manager.
ourselves, and we're our own counselors, right?
Yeah,
You have to
we're the
push yourself up
chauffeur,
sometimes. We the CFO because we have to figure out how to, rob Peter to pay
budgets.
Paul, if that's the case, and budgeting and making sure that you're saving for college funds, and in some cases we're paying for our own school loans still. All of that, all of those are the same things that you do
Wow.
in business. And so what we have to do is understand what our worth is. We have to believe in our worth. We have to understand how those skills do apply in the workplace. Now, I'm not
Yes.
saying that you don't have to have the basics on the education and doing
Right.
some of those things as well, but we have done all. Once you've done all that, then you
Yeah.
got to tell yourself, I can do this work, because
Wow.
no one is going to come up to you in a lot of cases and
Yeah.
say, hey, Barbara, did you ever consider doing this? It
Mhm.
happens to a lot of us. It's happened to me, but has it happened for the exact job I wanted? Probably not,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That's
Yes.
that's the
Yes.
difference in how we have to go for things. And that's why men go for things in a lot of cases a lot
Yes.
more often and with less of those skills that Yolanda mentioned earlier.
This is going to sound woo. And if Lupe were on the line, she'd laugh because she's more of the woo person. But it is mindset. It comes down to also the mindset work that you have to do on yourself. And I can't wait to lead a personal branding session with you all because it also is about owning your brand. What is the worth that you bring, as you said? And so I'm really excited. I'm glad you were able to jump on the
I'm
line.
so sorry I was late, but I'm
No,
glad I was able to jump on as well
it's
and
all good.
spend time with both of you. And Yolanda's she's one of my favorite people in the entire world, and she knows that.
Mhm.
And Barbara, the work that you're doing is just fantastic. And I want to make sure that as many women as you can touch, we need to make sure we can do that wherever we can help with Western Union. And we appreciate everything that you do for us as well.
Oh, that warms my heart. I really appreciate that, and I'm just excited about the partnership. And I was telling Yolanda I wanted her to hang tight in the green room because we're going to talk about promoting those jobs through Second Act Women. So while I have her on the line, I'm going to hold on to her. I'm going to take you all back off the line. Again, Yolanda, stay in the back. Quinn, you're welcome to stay as well. But I thank you, and I just want to say thank you to these women specifically for saying yes to CareerCon, but more importantly, saying yes to you. They get you. They understand you. Western Union gets you and understands you, and so does the Colorado Women's Chamber and our partners at CBS Colorado. If you haven't seen the ads, here it is.
Women over 40. Ageism in the way of landing a job or moving up? Grab a ticket to CareerCon job advancement event by and for women over 40 with HR experts and recruiters, job seeking tools, and more. Tickets at secondactwomen.com. Women over.
So I look forward to seeing you on the weekend of February 4th and 5th. Guess what? That means you need to skip skiing because this is your chance to find a job. And B, it's the weekend, so you don't have to tell your boss where you're going if you are looking for another job. I look forward to seeing you. You can get your tickets at secondactwomen.com/CareerCon, and we will see you there.